We're just about to wrap up 2021 here, and overall it was a fantastic year in the market. I don't know how well Cathie Wood has been doing. I always thought a lot of her investment theses were absolutely insane and detached from reality. I will say that 2021 was definitely a year where I think that the numbers are starting to become important. And by numbers, I mean your revenue, your margin, and your profits. I could pretty much go nonstop on most of these wood stocks, like Joby. I think she has that in her ARC X. Yeah, she's holding about $7 million worth of Joby. I really strongly think before you buy a stock, you should come to Mark on YouTube, subscribe, and I'll give you an initial impression, free of charge, of whether or not you should even be looking at the stock. I mean, if you just look at most of these companies, I mean, how did it go? Let's sit here, like Invitae. Oh, I mean, I don't know how you make money off that. How about CRISPR? Oh man, I said that was just a loser's bet, and it turned out to be true. Awful. I was gonna rip making the money problem for his investment in CRISPR, but the things he said about it and his knowledge of genomics and all that, it kind of made sense that he was just doing degenerate gambling like many of us do, including myself, so I really can't give him much grief. Well, let's look at some other ones like Roku. Cathie was big into that. I mean, I think it did well in 2020, but look how, I mean, it's awful. What else she's big in? She's big in Tesla, and that's the one I'm wrong about. I consider Tesla the last domino to fall, and once Tesla goes down, then I think everyone will be going back to worshiping Warren Buffett again. But we shall see. Tesla's doing very well, but Cathie's seems to be obsessed with things like a Teladoc. I mean, just awful. I mean, I was telling this in 2020 on the way up that these companies are not really worth what people are paying for them. Zoom, I mean, just awful. 450 high down to 200, less than 200. I mean, that's a good way to lose money. Zillow. What else is a bad one? God, look how terrible these investments are. For 2021, you might have made money off the 2020 low, which was easy money to be made. Pinterest. Yikes. 80 to 36. Ugh. Oh, there's a Peloton, which I always said was an expensive towel holder. And ouch-y. Let's see here. You know, which didn't really do terrible, but I don't know why you guys thought Palantir, $100 or a $1 trillion company. I don't know where your guys' heads were other than you're up your butt. But we're probably still sitting around a $40 billion company for $1 billion in revenue. That's why it's $18 and not $40. And then you have my favorite one to rank on, which is Lemonade. I don't know what you people were thinking about Lemonade in the insurance industry. Just awful. I mean, it's funny. I said I would look at it at $2 to $3 billion when it was $10 billion. Now, I got a lot of grief when this thing was going up to, I don't know, 180, and now you're down 75, 80%, $40. Terrible. It actually broke through 40 yesterday, I believe, or 2 days ago. It's kind of funny. So some people held this from like 40 up to like 160, and now they're back to losing money. I had made that video about Karma Concept actually selling out and saying why I sold Lemonade and she made money, and I thought it was great. I was like, dude, if you can make money off this trash, then do it. But look at the other insurance plays like Metro Mile, which Lemonade bought with their shares, actually just diluting the crap out of the existing shareholders. Pure crap. What are those fanboys like Root? Oh man, I mean, these charts are awful. What was another one? Clover Health? I think they do health insurance. Oh, ouchie. Hippo, that was one that you guys liked. Oh, just awful. I mean, I think I have a couple. Maybe not. I don't think anybody likes any of my stock picks, even on my own channel, except for like Old Republic or something. So Old Republic, it's not sexy. It's actually probably been pretty flat for the last 8 months or so, but it's also paid you $3,000 in cash this year, I believe. And for those of you who are holding Old Republic, you're probably going to get another special dividend in January, February. I'm waiting for that. We'll see what happens. I don't know. what I did the other day, I was going through all my comments, like so you can comment on videos. A lot of times I probably just have too many beers and I'm just trolling people on their videos. Like, yeah, Joby just on my RTP. Oh, that's me, yeah. Because I got out of RTP immediately when I figured out was air mobility. Air mobility will be the next 3D printing story, but I think even worse because people really just don't know a lot about aviation regulation and costs associated with it. They aren't even making the argument that these new electric vehicles are really just a replacement for the helicopter. As a matter of fact, I don't even know why they're not making an electric helicopter. Just make an electric helo, and that'll be the helicopter industry, but they're not going to be $5, $10, $15 billion industries. Some people are saying, oh, like with E-Hang, like, oh, let's go back to E-Hang. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Oh, so you went from about a 45 to 15. Gosh, terrible. And they're like, oh, it's going to be tour operators. No, there's no $5 billion, $10 billion helicopter tour operators that I can even come close to thinking about. So an electric one that only has like 30 minutes of range isn't going to do it either. Yeah, going back to, last year, November. This is pretty interesting stuff. I always like to say what I'm buying and give alternatives to things. This is interesting because Tom Nash, I give him credit, put out his Mimecast video. So that was in November 29th, 2020. And I ended up buying Mimecast because I was looking at Lemonade, and just the comparison helped me to realize how good Mimecast was a company, even though Mimecast is not insurance. So I held on to Mimecast all the way to the end. I think Tom sold his, but I just held through, and that was just about, if I bought it here. Oh, no. I remember I bought it like around 55, and then they had a security breach, and they were, internet security company. I'm like, oh no, and they had this issue with Microsoft, went down to 40, but I was like, the business and the revenue didn't change, so I'll hold on to it, and sure enough, it goes up to 80 and then gets bought out. So that was definitely a good investment. Yeah, it's funny talking about Lemonade before its run up. I was saying that you don't really get squat for $4 billion. Well, it's funny because this stock ran to $10 billion for the company when it got totally out of control. But you go back today, see your Lemonade's sitting at, it's back to $2.6 billion. So it went from 4 to 10, now it's back to 2.6, which is funny because, it took about a year. So if you didn't get out, you lost money. And this is crazy. I didn't know much about options. So we're talking a year ago, December 5th, 2020. I'm talking about, hey, can you tell me how to buy long puts on Lemonade? I'm thinking these guys will be in the drink in a year. Thanks. Let's see what this guy had to say. I think someone said, just don't do it. He goes, oh, if you don't know about options, you shouldn't be buying them. I agree with that. And there it is. I totally agree. The first puts recently that I really wanted to do was against Nikola, but I didn't really know how to do it, and then they were really expensive. It would take a huge drop. You can see, look, I was looking at the $45 strike price for Nikola, and how did Nikola turn out? God, that was awful. Nikola, I bet it's like $12 stock. Oh, sorry, $9.87. That actually would have been a good play. What I'm talking about here, over a year ago. So yeah, I would have gone from about, whatever it was, $30 down to 10. That would have been a good play. Anyway, with Lemonade, like I said, when it says it'll be in the drink in a year, well, you go back to that, and that was it December of last year. And that was kind of a bold statement because look how high it was. I mean, it even went up in January to 180. So people are probably like, oh, Mark, on YouTube, you have no idea what you're talking about. But this, bam, called it. And it's easy because they don't have any revenue. Or not much, $100 million, week. And basically, almost not 100% of my predictions. Because I was wrong on Tesla and I was wrong about another stock. But a lot of what I said last year actually just kind of came true. Nothing sexy. I mean, the banks. I'm like, dude, just buy the banks. And you buy a, Bank of America's. How boring is that? But I mean, 30 to $45 roughly. I mean, up 50%. It's not bad. Key. These are all ones I own. Bam. 1723. Nothing sexy. And even though I owned it, I did say to stay away from things like Stone, like down in Brazil. I think they are. I mean, what a disaster. Some people were investing this because Buffett was. When the numbers don't add up in the end, you got to get out. I mean, that had a good run. Got to get out. All those Chamath stuff like SoFi, everyone thought that was going to be the be-all, bee's knees. And I'm like, no. They want to hear about things like SoFi and the SoFi Stadium, but they don't want to hear about something as mundane as like Park National or, Colin Frost. I mean, you guys even ever heard of these banks? Probably not, because it's just too boring. Like when you look at Lemonade and people are like, oh, yeah, Lemonade this, Lemonade that. And I'm like, it's just insurance, dude. Insurance is a tough game. People are saying it's better than things like Progressive, which is a beast. I mean, what would you rather be in? I don't know. I'd rather be here, at least making a little dividend. I do not own this, but, what about MetLife? I always tell people, why are you making videos on Lemonade when you could be doing MetLife or Aflac? Great company, lots of money. I mean, I own Aflac, lots of it. Maybe it's getting a little higher priced now. Another boring company I was into is, Albertsons. I compared that to Tesla, like how to make money in 2021 by Albertsons. I even made a produce day. So I am a Albertsons stock pumper, even though now it's probably getting a little high price, maybe time to sell, but it more or less doubled, and it still didn't beat Tesla. The other stock I was wrong about was Snowflake. I think Snowflake's done really well. Yeah, it's done pretty darn well. I mean, maybe at the beginning of the year, 300 to 338 is where it's ending, so 10%. But this is a wild swing. I mean, I thought this was going to go in the drink, and it was. It was kind of going that way. I don't know what they're up to because I haven't been following it. Then things like, how did Robinhood do? That's awful. Didn't Cathie Wood buy this garbage? Sorry, I'm just looking at some of these, from new things that happened in 2021. Man, that's heart-wrenching for any of you people who bought that on the IPO. Man, are there any wood stocks that have done well? Let's hear Invite. I had said, like, when did that ARC X thing, which is weird. She's buying things like Deere, which I do endorse things like Deere. I like Deere. Yeah, Deere's fine. Maybe fairly valued right now, but, she wouldn't even buy things like Northrop. And that's when I bought Northrop. I did sell out, and then, I don't know, it's done okay. I made money there, but it was like, okay. Bought Northrop, and I'm like, well, you got to buy, like, how's Raytheon? These are major companies. I think these are way better than buying crap like Virgin Galactic. You people never, I don't know what you're thinking. This is a zero revenue hobby company. And I said it when it was at $60. I said it, when it was at $20. And everyone's like, no. Even though I will say people are actually talking about doing space travel, which is really weird at the annual Christmas party, let's say. But this is actually my first option this year. And at one point I made 300%, but then it went down to like, a couple $100. I bought a put option against these guys when it was like 20 with like a 17 strike price. It struck down with the 14, and then right here, this is where I didn't lose any money, but this is where I lost all those gains. And then sure enough, it just continues its downward trend because it doesn't have any revenue. So when I'm buying put options, it's just me versus the rich man, which would be like in this case, Richard Branson versus their cash burn. That's it. Right now I have two put options. One was the Joby, and the other was in Lilium. Unfortunately, I only have 3 weeks time on this Lilium. I got a $6 strike price. If there's any sort of financial hiccup, like interest rate rise in January or anything like that, I think it'll hit the 6, and I'll make money very quickly on this one. But we'll see. Sometimes these don't hit. It doesn't change the fact that the trend is going to go down. I can't tell you what the price is going to be of a stock, this month or next month, but I can tell you, like, if something doesn't happen, if you don't get revenue, you're just going to keep going down, down, down. I mean, these guys aren't even going to do a space flight, Virgin Galactic, until what 2024 or 2023. I think they're taking a year off. I mean, what does that say? How do you get excited about this stock with no revenue and all that cost, all that overhead, those engineers and spacecraft? I mean, you're on the cash, just on the cash burn. If they don't have enough cash, then the company's going to go to crap, or they're going to have to dilute the crap out of the shares or get it a loan. But if the interest rates start going up, good luck with that. Next year, I probably will be talking about all sorts of different subjects, mostly right. I mean, if you kind of follow my videos, which none of you do, most of what I'm talking about kind of comes true. And it's not because I'm good. It's just because these are so easy. The only thing I'll say about a lot of the stocks I was dumping on in 2021 is that they are starting to get low. One example was one that I did that one trade. I made a couple $1,000, and that was like things like Beachbody, these crap SPAC stocks. I did that play right here with the announcement where it goes whoop and sold out, and I totally shilled that stock. But I mean, you're so low now, 237. I don't know if I can sit there and say anything like a Beachbody's crap, because the values are coming down, the price is coming down. I think it was, I don't know if it was Warren Buffett, Benjamin Graham, or that Templeton guy, who says like any stock is good at the right price, even if that's, someone just giving it to you. So you could see some huge gains. This is a good example, like Big Five, this janky strip mall sporting goods store. If you look at 2 years ago, this thing I remember got down to 65 cents. With the pandemic, it went from 65 cents, it broke 45. I mean, yikes. That's like you're up 70, 80 times in 2 years. That'd be insane. Now it's way pulled back to 20. But even if you're up 40 times at $20, or 35 times up at $20, you would have done very well. Probably even, better than Tesla actually. And the only reason I mentioned something like a Big Five is that I can rank on Teladoc and Peloton all day long. But some of these could get so low to the point where they're way oversold. I mean, a lot of times these channels just make it easy for me to, find crappy companies. Just see what they have to say, and they're always pushing garbage. Look at some of these things like on Couch Investor. Sorry, dude. I mean, I guess your video's okay. And you got 20,000 subs. This is what I'm talking about. You got 20,000 stuff. You're talking about like DocuSign and Palantir and Lemonade. God, that Lemonade never stops. PayPal. Whatever happened to PayPal? I owned that at one time. It just got too expensive. Whatever happened? That's not too bad. It's not too bad. Over the last year, I want to say I sold this. Yeah, I was gonna say I thought I sold it more like around 220 or 230. Things like Tattooed Chef. I don't know. Like I'd say buy some Kraft Heinz. I'm not saying Kraft Heinz is doing well, but I don't know what the obsession is with this frozen food stuff. Especially like I think these are soy weird stuff. Yeah, $1 billion. So $1 billion, $2 billion. Not a big deal. If it was $10 billion, I'd definitely buy a put against Tattooed Chef. But people love talking about Tattooed Chef. Weird. SoFi, terrible. Unity. I think Unity is doing okay. I don't know exactly everything they do. Okay, they're meh, kind of flat for the year. I think last year I thought they were way overpriced. I have not followed Unity at all, so I don't know what I'm talking about. I just remember I thought they were overpriced. T-Doc, that's a terrible company because there's not enough revenue to warrant their market valuation. Roku, I don't think was doing that good. Pinterest and Peloton, look at these names, all terrible. Coinbase, I'm not long Coinbase. Let's see how wrong I am about Coinbase. Okay, meh. I mean, it's below IPO price. Verdict's out. Looks like they are making money just at first glance. So I wouldn't put a put against Coinbase at this time, but I wouldn't buy it. Zoom, terrible. Metaverse, I don't know about the metaverse. I think the metaverse is stupid. Like buying digital land and NFTs. Can't stand NFTs. Or crypto for that matter, so you guys can hate on that. But Facebook is definitely in the portfolio. It just makes too much money. Disney is a rough one. I like their I like their intellectual properties. I love like things like Star Wars and stuff. There's a lot of value to that. I mean, just recurring revenue. Alibaba, absolutely ridiculous. People, it's like me versus Charlie Munger. I don't understand Charlie Munger. He could have saved himself probably tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars, probably tens of millions of dollars if he just went to Mark on YouTube and, asked me in the comments, hey dude, what do you think of this Alibaba, purchase? And I would have told him, Charlie, don't sell Costco and buy into Alibaba. And everybody hates me for saying that, but Munger made a big mistake, and the proof's in the pudding. You look at that Baba Group, I mean, just terrible. I think he was buying up in here, saying it's the future, and it might be, I don't know. Versus Costco, I don't own either of these companies, but I mean, the reason why that earnings multiple is so high because you're paying for that security. I mean, you're paying the premium for the safety of Costco, and Costco's just been kicking butt. I mean, what would you rather have? Costco or Baba? I mean, come on. People still think I'm stupid for that. Oh well, I can't. It's kind of hard to help stupid sometimes. What else? Square. I don't know. Man, look at these. I'm kind of rambling here. I love going through these companies. Oh yeah, Square took a big hit. I just, overpriced. Not a bad company, just way overpriced. What else? Without even looking at these, I can kind of think to myself, probably not very good. Like Fastly, what happened to Fastly? I remember this thing was grossly overpriced. Let's see what happened. Have not looked in a year. Oh. Okay, for all you Fastlys, I got your funeral invite right now, and it looks pretty bleak. Oh, yeah. I got a lot of grief for that, too. I got a lot of grief for all these companies. Netflix. I like Netflix, actually. I don't own it. I just say it's probably you can hold Netflix. Yeah, Netflix did fine this year. Keep going back to Charlie there. Sorry about that. Let's look at Roblox. I don't know much about Roblox. I like Roblox. I don't know if it's overpriced or not. I'm not even going to look at. Well, let's look at Roblox. Don't own it, but I don't think it's a bad. Okay, so didn't have a bad year by any means. Let's go back to Charlie. Okay, 4,000. Amazon's a great company. Fiverr, Airbnb. I like Airbnb. Don't own it. I don't. How did it do? Okay, meh. But kind of flat for the year. Let's see here. Anything else that we really need to cover? Remember, I'm all into the boring stuff like insurance, banks, and then the standard like Google's. I love Google, Apple. You got to have that. I mean, it's just so much money involved. I don't own them, but like a Microsoft is fine. There's just a lot of garbage on YouTube, and those are the ones that get the most hits. As a matter of fact, the most hits I get are talking about Lemonade. Maybe I should just talk about Lemonade, all in 2022 as it just keeps going down and down and down and down and down and into nothing. But Slack. I thought Slack got bought out. I'm not sure. Didn't like Salesforce buy them? I'm not sure. Okay, and then some of these are just I don't follow. So anyway, going back to the end of 2021, we finished the day at 36,000 on the Dow and 15.6. I think those are more or less all-time highs. And S&P. Yeah, look at that S&P, 27% for 2021. That's hard to beat. I've probably matched that this year, maybe even a little better for cash invested. I had to hold on to a lot of cash this year because I was trying to buy a house. But as far as the housing market goes, I'm in the Pacific Northwest, and houses here are just absolutely ridiculous as far as the bidding wars go. Tried to bid on 2 houses and got outbid. One not by a whole lot, another like 70, 80,000 bucks. Like, jeez. So I think that's gonna have to wait, but I have to hold on to a lot of cash for things like that. If you have any thoughts on 2021 or predictions for 2022, let me know in the comments, and we can look forward to talking about stocks and whatever in the next year. Hope you guys have a happy new year.